Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Akshat Bahety, and in today's video I'm going to show you which is the easiest way to build an actually really good AI voice agent. This will blow your mind. Let me show you a quick demo of this. Let me quickly get started and just call the AI agent.
Hi, I'm here to help you with your queries. What can I assist you with today?
Can you help me check my calendar for this Saturday and tell me if there are any?
Found one event on Saturday, September 13th, 2025. It is titled YT Video Recording, and it is an all-day event starting that day and ending the next. No location is listed. Would you like me to add or modify any events for that day?
Can you check my emails and if there are any unread emails that are?
Found one unread email in your inbox. Sender, Kareem at Clay, from newsletter at clay.com. Subject, 5 GTM engineering challenges and product updates that unlock powerful new capabilities. Received Tuesday, September 9th.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need it. Perfect. I can end the chat now. Now, if you just understand this, again, this is the most coolest agent that I've ever built and in record time. This will technically take us 10 to 15 minutes to actually build this whole agent and give it access to everything that we have from an email and calendar perspective. And I'm telling you, it's just beautifully crazy. So let's get started on actually how to build this agent. And I'm going to walk you step by step. So if you just follow along the tutorial, you will actually be able to build this yourself. And if you want a template for this, there is a link in description that you can copy and paste for that. So first, we are going to build an agent in ElevenLabs and ensure that we can connect this agent to this particular workflow, which allows ElevenLabs to access our calendar and our emails. So step one is technically you come to ElevenLabs and you will see either of these platforms. So you don't have to select the creative platform, which is technically used for a lot of other cool things, but agents platform here. And I'm going to click on agents and very simply I'll land up on this place. Once I land up here, I'm going to click on a new agent, right? And then you see there are three options that are in front of me. Now you can choose either one of them, but for me the starting point is mostly the blank agent. So I click on the blank agent and here I can describe what the agent name is going to be. So agent name, we are going to just say personal assistant, right? And we are going to write this as YT demo. And at the same time, you can also talk to the agent. So the point is this is technically one of the most coolest platforms that allow you to build a voice and a chat agent in one shot. And I can't stress this out enough. This will cut your development time by 50%. So let's come here. If I just want it right now to be both, and we can change the settings later. This is nothing is final. You are just going to walk through the steps. Now we have our agent ready. Technically it can start doing stuff, but right now we have not defined exactly what we want it to do. So if you see here, I have my agent language as English. You have a lot of languages available here and you can choose from them. You also can add an additional language. So for example, I speak English and Hindi. I can choose Hindi if I want to do it in, and it will allow me to choose between an option. So if you see here, I can choose Hindi and it will be an additional language that is there. But right now, just for the purposes of our demo, we are not going to select that. Then we have the first message, and the first message is technically, hello, how I can help you today. Now again, technically, again, this is a simple message and we can keep that. But if you want to change that, you can make it hello, subscribe to Akshat. If you are seeing this, if you are reading this message, or if you are listening. So we can describe our first message to be hello, subscribe to Akshat, right? And again, this is fun, but again, technically you will want to keep something like, hello, I'm your personal assistant. So for our first message, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to say, hello, I am your personal assistant. How can I help? And now if you see here, this small message that is coming up is to disable interruptions during the first message. So I will explain this in a bit more second, but the point is you want to keep this enabled. So at least the first message of the agent is it delivers without listening to the user. So ElevenLabs allows you to interrupt the agent whenever you want, but we don't want that at least in the first message. And as you can see, there is also an option to add a variable, but we are not going to utilize that right now. Then we come to the system prompt. This is technically where the magic happens, because this is where you're going to define how your agent is going to perform actions and what is it going to do. As you see, from a default perspective, we just get you are a helpful assistant, which is not great, right? Because again, technically this is just the default. So here I'm going to technically describe what do I want in my agent. Okay, so I don't like typing my instructions, so I just use an app called Whisper, which is just I will speak the instructions and it will type it here directly. I'm just going to explain my instructions. You are going to be a personal assistant agent which helps the user understand anything about their calendar, emails, or research the web. in addition to that, you also have access to giving them information about their emails, reading their emails, writing an email for them as a draft. You also have option to read their calendar, create events in their calendar as tools, and also again explain anything that is already present in their calendar for any other purpose. You also have option to research the web utilizing a tool. All of these 6 things that I've told, from reading, writing, and getting the emails, reading, writing, and creating details in the event, are all available to you as a tool. You also have an access to a date and time tool in case you want to get the current date and current time, in case that is not very clear to you. And okay, so now as you see, I pasted all these instructions. The best part is these instructions can be normally spoken, because now I'm going to click on generate with AI, and based on the ElevenLabs system instructions, it will describe and create a new prompt for me. As you can see, it gave it a personality, it gave it an environment, it gave it a tone, it gave it a goal, and also gave it the options that it has, right? Again, from different perspective. It has given it access to some guardrails and also the tool. So it has access to all my tools, it has access to all my details, everything that I explained. It automatically converted into a proper format of a prompt, which is great, because instead of going to ChatGPT and then writing a prompt and perfecting it, bringing it back here, I can just describe what I want in extreme detail and context and bring that back here. So we are going to save this for right now. Now again, we are not going to use variables here a lot, but you have an option to select a LLM. Now technically the Gemini Flash one is pretty good, but in case you want something a bit cheaper, you can choose from multiple options. They've also recently added GPT-5, but I will just choose, like, again, the default works really well, and we're going to stick to that. From a temperature standpoint, it's pretty simple. You can describe it to be more creative or something, but again, most of these things are not required for us right now. There is a knowledge base option, and in case you want to limit the token usage. There are also a couple of things that you can do is to end the call. So it has the access to end the call if, like, again, very simply it feels like that, or if you have described in instructions that you can only read the calendar once and then end the call, you can do that. There are a ton of other options available, and we can do that in a second. But if you see here, it does not have access to anything. It does not have access to our calendar or our email or anything else. And that's where we bring in n8n, because n8n technically allows us to do all of this in a very easy format. So now we're going to use n8n, and because it's one of the best tools to actually connect ElevenLabs with anything that we need. And we're going to use this particular option, which is the custom MCP server. Just to show you what we are going to build is technically have an MCP server trigger, which connects to all these tools, which is an email assistant, a calendar assistant, and a web assistant. And each one of these tools has access to different tools. So this email assistant has access to emails, this one has access to calendar, and this one has access to a web assistant. So just let's move forward and actually build this together, right? Again, and even if you don't want to build this and just want to download this as a template, it will be available in the description, so you can go ahead and download it in 1 second. So let's come here and click on creating a new workflow. We are here, and the first step that you want to do is just select an MCP server trigger. Once you select an MCP server trigger, we don't want to change any one of these things. Right now, we're just going to keep it as it is. Then we have the option here, as you can see, to connect tools. Now in tools, we technically want to start with selecting an AI agent tool. AI agent tool is technically where we are going to describe 3 tools, which is going to be, again, as I told you, a Gmail assistant. Now in this, we are going to describe 3 tools, and I'm just going to, like, right now, just for the sake of showing you this properly, I'm just going to copy and paste this in a second. So let me just paste this, and then you have these 3 tools that we have access to. And 1 second, we have this and we have this. Now I can just tidy this up, and now you have this. I'm going to rename this to be email assistant, right? And this is going to be technically your web assistant, or technically this is going to be the calendar assistant, and this is going to be, say, let's say, like, web research plus others. Okay, and just for the sake of it, like, this is for other stuff. In email assistant, technically now we're going to just use a single chat model. I'm just going to select OpenAI, bring that here, and as you can see, this is super simple. I'm just, like, going to, like, this is going to be done in, like, max couple of minutes. So we're just going to select GPT-5. Let's see. I have no idea why I'm never able to search any of these models. I just don't. Okay, because it's in the free version. So now they have started giving you free credits and everything else. I don't want those free credits. I'm going to search for GPT-5, and you have GPT-5. I am good with many because it works pretty good. We're going to select here, and then technically connect all of these here. Just a second. Now you still see the errors. The very simple reason is they need prompt messages. Now here, I don't want it to be just prompt user message. here we are going to let AI define this. We're going to define the description of this. This is an AI agent, and I'm just going to use Whisper again. This is an AI agent that has access to read emails, create a draft, and also send emails if required. And as you can see, I've given it that access. I can also add a system message if I want to explain how it exactly works. So I can go ahead and say, like, again, take this description, right? Again, I can describe a better description here. You are an AI assistant who has access to my emails. So you can read an email, search for emails, and also create a draft if required. And you have here, right? Again, you are an AI assistant who has access to read an email. And I don't want to give access to send an email. It's technically to search emails if required. And that's pretty much it, right? You have all of these things, and I'm just going to save this here. As you can see, we are good here. Same thing I'm going to do for the description in Calendar Assistant also. I'm just going to describe it in one shot. You are a calendar assistant who has access to read my calendar events, create an event, and also get me details about other events if required. And that's it. It will paste all of these things. As you can see, the best thing about Whisper is, like, again, it's like it's just amazing. Like, it just works, and that's just one thing that I love about things when they work. And I want to, every time you are technically using MCP server trigger, let AI define this, because the point is you are giving your inputs using an MCP server. And the way it works is that it has access to an AI model, which is going to tell what I need from this particular tool. Well, we have this here. We are going to utilize web research tool also in the same format. Just describe this. For this, I'm going to keep it simple. There is no need for a system message. You have access to search the web. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to keep this here. Now, very simply, here, technically, one more thing that you want to do is technically create a memory option. And because you want it to have memory option from different places, and as you can see, there is no input connected, I'm going to define a below. It's going to be a random key. So I'm just going to write random key for now, just for the sake of this exercise. Technically, you should have a key maintenance, and you have a memory, and we can connect these. Though I know we will probably never use it, because technically we're not having a conversation, we're just using the tools. And that's it. We are going to have this. Now it's the simplest part. We're just going to add tools. So I'm going to search for Gmail, right? Select this option, and now you can see I already have my credentials connected. You can connect your own if you want to. And here we have different tool descriptions that we already will let it be. And instead of sending a message, I wanted to create a draft. I don't want it to send emails, because that will just be like, a problem. So I come here, select a draft. I'm going to give it an option to create. And here I'm going to allow it an option to create a message and everything utilizing AI itself. Leave this here. Then again, probably create another tool. Again, connect Gmail. And here I'm going to let it allow me to get email. So you see message, and in the operation, you're going to select get. And instead of get, I'm going to select get many, because I don't have a specific message ID. Limit, I'm going to keep it at 5. I don't want to get everything else. And also, I can describe here technically, like, again, if I want the read status to be specifically unread emails only or read emails only, that's up to you. We'll just leave it here so you can see how it works. And then we will give it another option to technically, again, connect the Gmail tool, and we come here. And let's say, like, again, we can say maybe, like, to get us, or like, again, send email, or we'll also give it an option to keep an email to mark as read or unread, right? And technically this should be doable by AI, right? But again, it's fine. Like, again, I technically want to read my emails and automatically do them myself. But in case you want to, you can add, or even in case you want to change this to, like, a thread or a draft. So maybe you can create a draft mode, or like, get a draft. If there are other drafts that are created, I will actually like that to be a better alternative rather than having this. You can obviously have all of them also if you want, but again, just like, to keep it simple for the demo. We are going to quickly tidy this up. As you can see, it's not properly tidied. I don't like the way n8n still adjusts its nodes. It's just not me. But in here, the one thing before I move to Calendar Assistant is technically I'm going to rename these to just create a draft. I don't want it to be Gmail or something specific. I just want it to be like, and get many emails should be get emails, right? And this should be like, again, very simply get drafts from email. Because the point is, your tools also need a very clear definition here. And one thing that we are going to do this from here is go to the email assistant and name the same tools here also. So you can read an email, search for emails, And as you can see, like, again, we have search email as get emails, right? Again, and search for emails. And instead of that, I'll write get emails, right? And also create a draft, and we have the same thing. It's always better to write the same tool name that we have here exactly in the prompt, because then the AI knows which tool it's calling for a particular action. This is a small trick, but helps you a lot. Then let's move on to the calendar assistant, right? And we are going to add to calendar, go here, and technically I just wanted to give a couple of options where it can create an event, right? And then you can see this is automatically defined, but you want to switch this to AI, and you want to switch this AI. I'm going to select one of my calendars, and that's going to be like, again, Akshat AI option to create an event, right? Again, you can have default reminders and everything else. And then again, very simply, like you can say, we are also going to give it an option to technically take this and then add another calendar tool. And I could have just copied and pasted also, but like, again, we are on this, so we are just going to do that. I'll say to get an event, and instead of one, we'll select get many. As you can see, you have to still describe like your couple of things in n8n, but it's fine. It takes like, a second or so. We're going to limit this to 5. I am just going to let AI decide this, and everything else, right? And with this, we technically have these two options. So create an event, and again, I'm going to rename this. And technically read events from calendar. And for the last one, I'm going to give it access to perplexity tool, which is technically to research if it wants to and get me information. So instead of messenger model, I'm going to again rename it to web search. We have all these things connected in one single place. One more tool that I always want to give it access to is date and time tool. And the reason behind date and time is because a lot of times AI just does not know what is the current date, right? And that is not great, because you want, like, again, to let it understand and choose what is the current date based on something that is already programmed, rather than AI figuring it out, because AI have knowledge cutoffs and it does not work very well. So we have this. We'll tidy this up. Still not a fan, but okay, it looks a bit better. You guys can see everything in a single place. And we have all of these things. Now connecting this is technically very easy. You can just come here and execute and change this MCP server to be like, again, to YT demo, right? Personal PA. I'm just going to do that and copy this URL. Now you see we have the authentication option. We are not going to do that right now. We are just going to stick to this and copy this URL and come back here. Click and add a server. As you can see, I have a ton of servers, and I'm going to create a new custom one and say the same thing. YT demo PA, a server to manage my calendar, read emails, etc. And now in this, you are just going to keep it to SSE, and here paste the value. As you see, this will give it a simple, like, again, a warning. We don't need to do any of these things, and just stay as it is. Now, as you come here, you don't need to define this. If you want to do any kind of security configuration, so like create a header authentication or a bearer authentication, you can add that here. Then you have a tool approval mode. Now here it depends on whom you are creating for. So let's say you are creating something for consumers and you want to give them an option to, like, technically, have all the tools should ask you for permission. So if you are reading an email, you should always ask it, or you don't want it to ask it, it's up to you. I technically want it to just run the tools whenever I just ask it, so I don't need to figure out every time and say yes, you can run this tool. I'm just going to select no, and then I can select I trust this server, and then we're going to click on add a server. Now adding a server takes just a couple of seconds. I will tell you the best option is to just refresh the page, because most of the times it does not show up until you quickly refresh. I believe that's a small bug which will get fixed very soon. Come back here. You are here, and then you select again, and you have this, and you are going to add this server here. Now this server technically needs to be green, and you see it's still red, because if you are correct, we have not activated this server here. So I'm going to click on active, and we are good, and we have, like, again, you have error notification and anything else. If there are, we have this as active, and in a second or so, let's test the connection, and it should technically now have disconnected. Still probably take a couple of seconds again. Maybe quickly refresh it. It takes a couple of refreshes, because again, when you're hosting it, sometimes, like, again, just needs a second. Or my bad, I did not copy the test URL. I did not copy the production URL. So again, just make sure to copy the production URL and come back here, and this is going to be learn you win some, you lose some kind of things, right? Again, so I'm going to come here, and technically I believe I'll have to again create a new server. It doesn't, or again go to MCPs and change that. I'm just going to quickly create a new server, add this YT demo 2 and email and calendar server, and come here, select this, put this here, and you have the SSE tool, not input anything else, quickly just select no tool, and I crossed the server. Hopefully this works. Again, I have followed all the right steps. I've done this again 10 times, but you still make mistakes, and that is how just life is. I'm going to add server and YT demo. This is still the old one. Let's see if we get the new one. Perfect, we have got the new one, YT demo 2, and save this. And now, as you can see, it has access to all the tools here, right? And you see the description. Why is it important? Because this is how AI from on this ElevenLabs AI, which is Gemini Flash right now, knows which tool to call when. With now, I believe we are all good, and technically this should work exactly as we have told you. And if you see, we have not tested it till now, which is not great, but given that you can't test it until you have all these options. So let's start and let's try to test it. And you see there is an option to start chatting, but I want to. So one thing that we have to do is technically switch off the text only mode and have both of these things. And now let's try to actually test it.
Hello, I am your personal assistant. How can I help you?
Can you tell me if I have any events on my calendar for this Saturday?
I can help with that. Just to confirm, can you please specify the year for which you'd like me to check your calendar?
Okay, now you see that that was a question that should not have asked. And there is one specific thing that we missed here in the particular calendar. So if you see here, it has access to all of these things, but one thing that it does not have access to is very simply, again, tell it that you have access to a date and time tool and use this for any calendar or date related events instead of asking the user, right? And then one more thing that I'm going to do is add the time zone, which is going to be Indian Standard Time. So I'm going to add that, and that's going to be Kolkata, I believe. Kolkata, I have no idea. Okay, we just have India. That's good. So it technically should now be able to utilize that, but again, it is going to take a hit or a miss because it's probably going to take one more issue, which I am thinking it might exist with. Let's see.
Hello, I am your personal assistant. How can I help you?
Can you help me get the events for this Saturday in my calendar?
Okay, this Saturday, September 13th, you have one event scheduled. It's the YT video recording, which lasts all day. The organizer is Akshat at akshatbahety.com. Would you like me to add, edit, or set a reminder for this event?
So perfect. Now, as you can see, again, I stopped the
Are
microphone.
you still there? Let me know if you need further assistance with the event or anything else.
Okay. I'm going to end the chat because very simply, it will keep interrupting me. But the point, again, it was able to, do our actions exactly as we wanted it. I'll now go ahead and test the email part. The only thing is, again, because I'm recording from the audio here on my screen, I can't speak at the time that it is doing the action. So just hold on a second when I test it.
Hello, I am your personal assistant. How can I help you?
Can you tell me any unread emails if I might have them?
I am sorry, I'm unable to check your unread emails at the moment. There seems to be an issue with the email tool. Please try again later. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Okay, that is pretty strange. It should not have happened, but let's say, again, the best thing is I want to see, again, where did the error happen? So come back here, let's quickly refresh, see where the execution failed. I think, again, let's see, execution. You have exactly, again, a second before, again, so let's see. It went there, it got the emails. Get emails. I think it just got a ton of data because it it had a lot of data of my unread emails. And so that's one issue that you get when you are working with emails, is that you might get a ton of information, and instead of a GPT-5 mini, you want to switch to a higher model, which is technically, I believe, going to be better than is going to be Gemini Flash or a Gemini Pro, which has a million token context. So if I do this, it will technically now work in the same format. It's just I switched my get emails from 5 to 1, so it will just get one email back, because the 5 emails that I have are massive demarked reports and everything which are unread. So I'm just going to come here,
Hello, I am your personal assistant. How can I help you?
Can you tell me my current email?
Okay, I have fetched your current inbox messages. There is one unread email from Kareem at Clay with the subject 5 GTM engineering challenges and product updates that unlock powerful new capabilities. The snippet says, in this newsletter edition, we're
Okay, as you can see, you can do so much more with it, and just have that conversation. And I believe that's just the beauty of it, that connecting an 11 labs agent to n8n is just so quick, and you can do so much more with it. And that's not even enough. You have this whole workflow option, which I'm going to explore in other videos, to build more complex agents than this. But given that this is a simple agent which took roughly 20-25 minutes, is crazy. The quality of agents that you can build. You can also switch between voices if you want to. You can choose a different voice if you want, instead of the one that we're using. You have a couple of evals and test option in case you want to do that. So you have these things. You also have a couple of things on security, which are simple, so that everyone can't access your agent, only some websites can, and everything else. And then you have some advanced stuff and a widget that they allow you to embed on any website. And I believe this is the coolest thing. I've been really working with people to ensure that their businesses can use this voice agent to capture leads, to talk to their customers, and everything else. And it's really powerful. So if you really want to learn more about 11labs AI agent, I have a whole series planned coming in with more stuff. Go ahead and try this out right now. The templates and everything else is in the description. And if you want to keep continuing learning with me, I would suggest that you join this cool community that we have to offer, for which the link is also in the description. Till then, I'll see you in the next one.